Welcome everyone to today's RD to RD live show. This is one episode that I have been looking forward to for quite some time. Monica Salafia is going to dive into the topic of becoming and working in gyms and clubs as we'll call it a fitness dietitian. And this is a huge opportunity for registered dietitians as well as for gyms to offer a value added service. So I kind of see it as this perfect I don't say marriage, but a perfect combination of a need and then a skill set that we have. So again, my name is Megan Boitano, founder of RD to RD, and the live show, gosh, it's been more than 25 episodes now, and I started the live show because I felt a little lonely as an online business owner, and I had a lot of questions and really wanted a way to kind of crowdsource information and expertise that so many dietitians have created this incredible amount of wisdom working in a specific niche or with a specific tool, whether it's Pinterest or SEO or be working in gyms, that to give a voice and allow a conversation to happen so that we can share our wisdom. So this is one of the highlights for me of what I get to do every 2 weeks, do this live. So this is about you as well, listening in, asking questions. So if you are listening to us and you want, we're not getting into enough detail, just drop us a question. I'll keep an eye on those. And so we'll go ahead and kick things off. So Monica, thank you so much for being here. Kick us off and tell us a little bit about yourself and the work that you do.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm very excited to be here. How's the audio? Good?
Audio is perfect.
Okay. So definitely super excited to be here. And like you said, I call myself a fitness dietitian and I say I'm Denver's fitness dietitian because what I do is I go into gyms and fitness studios around the area, providing nutrition coaching and programs and workshops to the gym's members. So I get to really focus on both the individual part and the group part. Both I think are really important, and it really does depend on what the gyms need. And that's what I do. I'll also do some consulting with gym owners because they don't really know what this looks like. They just know that their members need nutrition. So I kind of am a team player in that way where I'm like, this is helping your business, but I'm also able to do what I love, which is help people reach their nutrition goals with food. So
that's really interesting. I can imagine a lot of gym owners are saying, our members are asking for this, but we don't really know what this should look like. That's really interesting. How did that happen? And how did you develop kind of the ability to, provide? Did they seek you out? Did you approach them?
Well, I feel like it all started when I was a dietetic intern. Well, first of all, actually, let me go way back. I've always loved fitness. And this is a reason why I call myself a fitness dietitian, not a sports dietitian,
Yes, I was
because
going to say, let's differentiate the two.
yeah. So I've never liked sports very much. I've always played sports. I was always athletic. Well, not really athletic. Like I was no stellar athlete, but I played on sports teams in high school. So I did soccer, swimming, and lacrosse. But my favorite part of it all was going into the weight room and lifting weights and doing that conditioning work. The team stuff was really fun. But for me, I just loved being fit and active. And I would do powerlifting with my brothers. And then I would do yoga and Pilates with my mom. And I would run. So I just liked that aspect of being fit. And so during that time, this was like high school, I took health class, a food nutrition course, and then it just was a natural fit for me to go, wow, I really love fitness. Nutrition is important. What can I do to make this a job? So I knew right away I was going to be a dietitian and I knew fitness was going to be a part of it. But it wasn't until during the dietetic internship, there isn't a fitness rotation, which I hope to change.
Yeah.
And I've heard of sports dietitians, but that was more so for me. What I saw was a lot of universities hired dietitians, or there was professional sports teams, which that's super cool. But my interest has always been that gym atmosphere, that fitness studio atmosphere, and working with those members. So when it came down to my internship, I was in upstate New York. I did my dietetic internship at the Sage Colleges. I was technically on site, but I wasn't getting the fitness experience that I wanted. So I asked my director if I could look for a preceptor and move to wherever I found one. And that's exactly what I did. I found a preceptor in Denver, Colorado, who was, he has a PhD in, it's bioenergetics. I need a fact check on that. But anyways, he's really both fitness and nutrition, and he was looking for an intern. So I asked if I could move to Denver and finish out my internship, my community rotation, just make it the fitness piece and meet the competencies. And my director was like, absolutely, if you set it up. So that's exactly what I did. I just created it. I just made it happen. And so how did I get in? Well, my preceptor, Dr. Todd Weber, he introduced me to Trisha Olson, who's the founder of fitlodenver.com. And she was all about getting people their fitness match. And so she would have me go into gyms and fitness studios. And that's how I got integrated in the whole Denver fitness scene, just going to the studios, meeting the owners, talking to the members.
That's a really good point of how do you get into the scene, and then really looking at what types of gyms and studios are going to be kind of who's going to be the most open. You're going to something like a Planet Fitness versus a small kind of boutique. Maybe it's even just a training studio.
Yes.
There's so many different kinds of gyms. They're not, it's like calling a dietitian is just everyone's the same. Gyms, and they're a diverse breed, right?
So diverse. And I think that is another opportunity for dietitians who are interested in this space to niche down even more. And I could talk a little bit about that because I actually work with a CrossFit gym, a yoga studio, a HIIT training gym, and those are very different athletic needs, right? People have different goals. So for example, my CrossFit people, it's very much about performance and hitting like heavier lifts. But my yoga crowd, there's a lot more, I would say, like a gentler nutrition approach. There's a lot of more mindful eating, a lot of intuitive eating. It's just very different. So I think that there is opportunity for both. However, I will say that most people in gyms and fitness studios are going to want some sort of like weight management talk or body composition. So I think that needs to be said too. If you are opposed to that, then fitness dietetics might not be for you.
Right. So kind of getting your foot in the door. So you kind of had a preceptor and then met some connections locally. How would you recommend approaching a fitness studio, maybe one that is in a niche that you're looking to explore?
Definitely join their gym or just go do their workouts. A lot more boutique studios will start to do like free events because they want to attract clients. They want to attract members. So I would say just stay authentic to you and go to the gyms that speak to your fitness language. Like don't go to a bar studio if you're not interested in bar, but if you're interested in HIIT, go to that HIIT gym and just mingle. Like I think that if we just talk about what we do, I mean, that's every chance that I got to tell people like, oh, I'm a student or I'm a dietitian or whatever, depending on where I was in my journey, I would tell them exactly like what I do. So that way, when they did have their mind on nutrition, they thought of me.
So let's kind of talk, there's this, and it came up, someone emailed me specifically about whether or not when you're working in a gym, and I mean, I even know some dietitians locally who did work in a gym and now moved out into private practice, but being an employee of the gym versus, having your own business and that you provide a service, kind of referrals from the gym. So how does that work? And how do you figure out which one maybe is right for you, and what if a gym's like, this is the only option, I guess?
Okay, so luckily I have experience with both. So I'll talk about first the I'm not an employee side. So on the I'm not an employee of that gym side, I will provide individual nutrition coaching for their members, and it will either be a split price or it will just be a referral and like kind of a mutual understanding like, hey, you have a member that wants nutrition and they're going to reach out to me. But I do a lot more. I actually don't need the physical gym space to do what I do. I use Healthy, so I do telehealth. So I haven't done any like split fees. The only time I've done a split fee, like we're going to do $99 and it's going to be 70-30 or whatever. The only time I've done that is with a gym nutrition challenge, but there are drawbacks to that, and I can talk about that too. And so for me personally, I will do the offering of workshops, which the gym pays me, and then they can charge their members, or they can choose to put it in their membership portal. So Mind Body Online is what a lot of gyms in Denver use. I don't know what other people use. But so what happens is a member can go onto their website and then go, oh, I want to do this mindful eating workshop with Monica. Click, $25 comes out of their.
They have a card on file. It just goes.
Exactly. So I would say it's up to the dietitian who wants to do this to offer those options. Say, gym owner, we can do a flat fee. You can pay me X amount of dollars for this 2-hour workshop. Please include the price for your groceries. Don't neglect the groceries because you're going to do food. And then the gym owner has to promote and do ticketed sales, or you can just individually say like, yeah, I want to do this and charge the members X amount. I prefer the flat fee because it gives the gym owner the incentive that, okay, I invested in this dietitian. I paid her $250 for this workshop. So I need to get like more than 10 people at $25 a ticket in the door to make money. And I did that with challenges as well. So that's another version of me not being an employee, but offering nutrition services for the members.
So talk about what a challenge might look like.
Oh, okay. So I do a specific 28-day Mind and Nutrition reset, and it starts with a goal setting session with me. Well, there's promotion at the gym, of course, on their social media and in person. Sometimes I will do a workshop just to kind of generate some buzz around it. However, I found that I can do just the same amount of promotion via social media. Taking over their Instagram story works well. So I don't have to go set up shop, although that's an option too. And I will do the goal setting session with the member, and then I will send them their goal setting sheet. So that way they have to keep themselves accountable. And then we onboard them into the Facebook group where there's daily tasks. And I put in specific daily goals that I want them to hit. For example, a water goal, a workout goal, social media stuff. So tagging the gym, tagging me, and mindfulness and yoga. So they have to hit those, but then there's nutrition elements throughout. And then I also provide weekly meal plans. So that is kind of the meat and bones of the challenges that I run. And for me, I use a point system. So it's not about the person who lost the most weight wins. Like that's not my bag. But the person who does the most engagement and keeps, the most track of their goals.
So you have prizes for that.
Yep, prizes for that. And then also I've done a version at a gym where we give the client the money back. So if we charged it at $99 and you had the most points, then you get your money back and a bigger prize.
So would you say, you've been doing this for a while. So I think the more you do something, the more tools that you build up. If you're kind of just starting out, you're going to be, I'm going to get to some questions here. I see rolling in. I see your questions coming in, everyone. But as the host, I get to ask first. I'm kidding. No, I'm just kidding. That I just want to make sure we kind of slow it down just a second and say, if I'm just getting started. You mentioned offering the workshops, and that's whole paid versus free, where maybe they'll let you come to the gym on a Saturday and teach a little workshop in between blah, blah, blah. But they're not going to necessarily pay you. If you're getting your foot in the door, should you say, no, or until you get a few under your belt and then say, this is a menu of workshops that I offer. This is other gyms have been successful. How might that look?
I think that it's important for the dietitian herself to take an honest look at where she is in her business, because I'll be honest, I have done plenty of free workshops and I plan to do more, but I also do paid ones. I just am now at a point where I can navigate whether is it worth it for me to try and make money from this event, or can I use this event as a free event, but I'll generate leads for coaching or an email list, or just reputation.
You're not shying away from the money conversation. It's just you've thought through it, and that's not one that, I think this is important, that sometimes we don't want to ask to be paid, but it's okay to do something without being paid if it's strategic, right?
Yeah. And so what I'll do is, I typically, like, I feel like it's a very case by case basis. If I had not had a relationship with this entity before, then I won't just come in and be like, hey, I want to do a workshop here. Pay me $250 or $300 or whatever. That's usually about the price range for me. That works. Everyone else can choose their own. But other times I'm like, I see this relationship able to form, and I'd love to provide value for you. This is actually what I'm doing with my Whole Soul Smoothie Bowl Fitness Goals event. They're not paying me. I'm providing this at their location. And what I hope to gain from that is just meeting people, because if you just work remotely, you got to get out there. I think the overall lesson is, if you want to be a fitness dietitian, you have to get out in the community. So I get to meet with people. I get to talk about my two passions, fitness and nutrition. People get to see me as a resource. So now when people think, oh, fitness, nutrition, they're going to think Monica, the fitness dietitian.
Right.
And that to me is so much more valuable than just, oh, I collected dollars, because the dollars will come, but I need to do work. So I think that there's room for both the free stuff and the not free stuff.
Yes. So let's hit a couple of questions here. So, marketing, kind of looping back around to your initial comment about, would you market your services to a gym that you don't belong to? So, how do you, it's easier to get your foot in the door. Like, would you do that, or what advice do you have there?
So I would not just cold call a gym and be like, hey, I'm a dietitian. I'd feel more comfortable going to the gym and getting my face known. But I don't know if that's a personal thing or if that's business strategy. That just, to me, just doesn't make sense. Because you want the gym owner to want you just as much as you want to work with them. Because here's what could happen. Let's say you pitch to them and they're like, sure. They don't know anything about you, but then you get in there and they're all about this really crazy diet, and you're like, set, I'm not into this. And then it just doesn't mesh very well.
Yeah, you get the vibe of the gym.
Yeah.
And whether or not your personal beliefs and approach are probably going to be a good fit there. I think that's really good insight. Oh my gosh, there's so many questions coming in. So, oh my gosh.
I can't see them, so I have no idea.
I can. All right. So Jennifer was asking, what is your workshop fee? And what if there's not enough signups? So the gym owner loses, and kind of that's been her experience.
So to avoid the no signups, try and do the flat fee. That way it's on the gym to promote, because they need the way I see myself is like, I am providing your members a nutrition service, but you have to promote that, because I'm at other gyms. I'm with my own personal clients. So you really need to just kind of buckle up and have that conversation, because that's the best way to do it. Okay. Now,
setting expectations up front. But you also mentioned like doing some Instagram takeovers, like helping them, promote it, that you kind of have a plan that you can provide to them.
I provide them a promotional flyer to hang up on their gym. I provide them a social media graphic to post on their Instagram, and I'll do an Insta story takeover. That's like, I'm an Instagram person, so that's my natural fit. And that's a good way to do marketing without having to do a table. However, I've done the table thing too, where I set up. But yeah, I think that definitely having that conversation, just being like, this is how it works the best. And that you really need to just drive home that they have incentive to give this to their members, which is why I, again, wouldn't want to do like a cold call to a gym. I want to make sure that like I'm buddies with the gym owner. The only way you do that is by getting to their gym, because they're a business owner too. And they, they have goals. And so that is what I would recommend for the workshop. And then I have experienced the nobody signed up situation before.
Okay.
Yeah. And that was because there just wasn't enough incentive from the gym owner, because we were doing a split fee, and it was like, okay, you didn't the gym owner didn't really have as much incentive to promote because it was very easy passive income for them. Like, oh, she's doing everything and I'm going to get 30% of whatever she does. But it's like, no, that doesn't work because I can promote on my own Instagram channel and I'll get signups. But what happened was I would do that and people not part of their gym would be like, I want to join. And like, what am I supposed to do? Say no, this isn't for you. Like, so the gym owner really needs to go like, in on this just as much as the dietitian does. And that's the biggest take home piece is like, get to know the gym owner, remind them that this is a service for their members, but that they need to promote.
Yeah, I like that, setting expectations up front and telling them what ways you can help to promote it. Funny story, I did a local presentation and nobody showed up. I was brand new to the area and I live in a dominantly Jewish community and it was Yom Kippur. Like, duh, you should never do a talk on that. I mean, but those are the kind of things that, if you knew that gym or you had a better relationship, you might not have that happen to you.
Yeah. But that's how you learn. You go through those quote unquote failures. Right. I'll never call it a failure because I've only ever seen success after that. And I don't mean to sound braggy or anything, but it was kind of just like, I got slammed with some aha moments because of those.
So I think don't be afraid to get out there and have nobody show up. Because the next time you do it, the next library that asked me to come and speak about, I was a lot more detailed about how are you promoting this event? This is how I can promote the event, so that we find out that it isn't, we're kind of expecting you to promote it all, that's not really how things are going to go down.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's on the dietitian who has her own private practice or his own private practice to promote the services that the gym is providing. So the gym provides nutrition for their members and the gym owner can't do that. Well, maybe they can, but they don't have the time. We're providing that time and that service. So like promote that. And you can also, if you do have that situation where nobody showed up, then use that as evidence as to this is why it needs to go the other way.
Right. So a couple more, lots of questions in here. What platform do you use for meal plans? Kind of off a little bit. Do you offer meal planning? Because you mentioned you give them a meal plan. So kind of closing, like when you're onboarding them as part of the challenge, they're getting a meal plan as part of that.
So a really long time ago, I used to use something called Gathered Table. I also have used Living Plate, but right now, currently, what I'm using, I will just look at recipes that are in all the recipe books that I have and come up with my own grocery list. And the reason that I'm doing that is because I feel like I don't run into any legal situations. And then another resource that I've been using, I've kind of just used a free trial so far, but it works really well. It's called macrokitchen.io. They're new and they've actually they've given me love on Instagram and they've shared my stuff. So I was like, this is a cool company. I'm going to check them out. And I looked at what they provide and it's just macro-based recipes. And I'm like, this is really cool. So I've been using that to generate my meal plans and it's very simple. I like it. Okay. People love meal plans.
Yes, they do.
I can't get away from that. And it's working for me right now.
So some good questions about and I think maybe this gets back, I don't want to get off topic too much, but the whole business entity of, do you need to have, quote unquote, I think we do this, a private practice and to get started offering services to a gym if, you already have another job per se?
Like legally, should you register your business with the state before you do this?
It's kind of question about, do you need to have a practice? And I think this would go back just kind of a little bit outside of the scope of what we're talking about of having a private practice. You should definitely always have liability insurance, whether or not you're going to be a sole proprietor or create a business entity under like an LLC, or it depends on your state. Sometimes to separate your finances, your personal, putting some protection of your own personal assets and having your business. So it's kind of a little bit outside of this scope, but no matter if you're seeing clients in a gym or, you need to think about that, right, of what you're doing.
Yeah. And so I'm actually going to pull this up. This is my Instagram. Oh, you can't really see it. This is my Instagram account. It says thought doesn't follow action. Action follows thought. So I I would say if you're brand new and you want to get started in fitness dietetics, just start thinking it, set that mindset and do it. And then the actions will follow. I don't think you have to set up all of these specific things and packages. Like you don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to make that mindset shift and be like, no, this is what I'm doing. And it will work out. I know it sounds crazy and hocus pocusy, but I promise this is how it is done. Because there is no path right now. I'm like, I see myself and the other fitness dietitians as the pioneers of this. Like we have to build it. So.
Well, and I think, doing the things that you have to have, right? You need to have liability insurance and some of those basic things. But I think as dietitians, we're a little bit type A, and we want to, we spend all this time creating packages. Well, the way we're going to know the right packages to offer are to start interacting with some clients and then knowing what their specific pain points are. Because you're basically just going to have to blow up everything you created to begin with anyway, which is what I did. So, But I don't feel like there's a way. I feel everybody just kind of has to do that anyway. Even though everybody tells you to just get started, we all just go ahead and map it all out and then blow it all up. So feel free to take the same approach.
Yeah. I think that's why I started putting like those free tools on RD to RD Marketplace, because I was like, people just need a picture, like just a visual of like what the steps should be. What does it look like to have an initial consultation? And I was like, I had to draw that out myself.
Right. And you do have some great tools on RD to RD as far as what happens in my kind of initial, here are the forms that I use. Here's the progress note when they come back. Here's the, like all of that stuff that you already put together that, blood, sweat, and tears, pain and, failure, it's already all there. They can visit your store and, grab those items. So
those tools definitely help. And like I had to physically, I'm a pen to paper kind of girl. Right. I had to physically write that stuff out. And I would just like for more people to think that they don't have to go through that work. They could just like get the tools and go, because we need more RDs in gyms and fitness studios.
Yes, we do. So let's talk about pricing services. And I know we haven't really hit on that. Yeah. What advice, really here Hiller is asking about for negotiating rates with a gym. And I think sometimes a gym will reach out to us, and sometimes maybe we're approaching a gym. Is there any leverage? Some questions here. Fee splitting versus what that might look like. How do those conversations go down?
So, a couple key points. Please consider, what is the gym owner charging their members? That's a big piece. That way you can frame whatever you're doing in terms of all you need to do is attract 3 clients to pay off this. So I would go, the boutique gyms and fitness studios will have a higher price. It might be I live in Denver, so that changes things. But 120 to 180 is about a monthly membership. So you need to consider, okay, if that's their target market, that's also yours as the dietitian. So start thinking about what those digits are and see what packages you can come up with that fit that and what would be worth it for you. So for me, it would be very hard for me to sell a $400 coaching package to a Planet Fitness member, because they're paying $10 a month. And so for me to come in and be like, I have a $400 coaching package, that's a little different. So,
but if you had more of a self-directed challenge or something, maybe that's a different price point.
Yep. And with the challenge, I think that it's best to put a flat fee and have some options. So for this flat fee here, you're going to get all of this for your members. And then the gym owner decides how much they want to sell that package to their members. And that's, again, I would think about it in terms of their membership. So if they're making their members pay, $100 a month, and you want to sell your package for $1,000, your coaching challenge for $1,000, then the gym owner needs to have that incentive to get at least 10 people to sign up. And they will, because they just invested in you for $1,000. So
got it.
I hope that helps.
Yeah, that's helpful. I think I guess that question of let's say you get approached by a gym, and I think that's happened sometimes, that negotiation of, and I think you mentioned, I just want to clarify a little bit. So if your contract, like you're not an employee, if they're bundling it in, are you setting up a contract in advance, or the payment versus, you're not billing them through Healthy. They're not technically buying a package from you. They're buying it from the gym that's kind of bundled in. Is that my answer, asking that question correctly?
The member is buying it from the gym?
Right.
Yes. And the gym does buy it from me, and they do buy it through Healthy. So like I onboard the gym owner as a client in Healthy, and then I charge them my group nutrition program fee. I don't show that on my, like if you go on my website, I don't show that to the public.
I'm also a Healthy user, so you can always send that little like thing so they can link. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So that's what I do. So it's like the gym pays me, and then the members pay the gym.
Okay. Is that for all things? But when you're doing your like you're doing your virtual, do you do any where you're billing for your own on the side packages?
Yep. If I'm doing individualized nutrition coaching, I will, that's me and the member, or me and the other client. Yeah.
So is your goal when you're running some of these challenges that you are, or maybe the workshop that you offer at a flat fee of, I'm sure you could probably bill for your workshops that you teach too through Healthy, but that you're going to see a certain number of these people decide to work with you. Do you find that you get the vast majority of your clients that way, or how?
I definitely use the challenges as their feedback. Sorry. I see the challenges as a lead generator for me. Faux show.
Okay. And I think that's, someone made a comment and looping back around about how much business you seem to be incredibly, business savvy. Like you were talking about thinking about what the gym owner, how much are the clients paying to be a member of that gym, and speaking the language of the gym owner, right? So that understanding how it's going to impact their balance sheet, that ultimately you're making it, you're talking their language, because ultimately that's what they need to hear. And what is your background in business, to loop back around on that question?
I have no idea. I mean, my dad owned a business, and I don't want to sound like conceited or anything, but I think I just have this way of thinking where if I want something to happen, I'll make it happen. And I can just see that there's just certain patterns. For example, the gym membership fee. I don't know. I just kind of saw that there's a reason that they are pricing it at that. They know the members more than me. So I don't know how I obtained this.
So I think for me, it's that big mindset shift of, we think about, I want to sell my packages of virtual nutrition counseling. Instead, you think about, how can I create value and a positive experience for the gym members that's going to be, add to the value that the gym's offering. And the side effect is going to be that people are going to buy my packages, that the packages are kind of, or the counseling sessions, those are not, you don't lead with that. That's not your lead foot.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, exactly. And just because my personal mission statement is to get more RDs in gyms and fitness studios, that's always my mindset shift too. Like, of course I want people to buy my nutrition coaching, but like I see a bigger picture happening here, and it is making fitness dietetics a thing. And so when I talk to a gym owner, I'm like, listen, we're a team. Like, you want your members to get healthy. I want your members to get healthy. You do fitness. I do food. Let's do it together. This is my skill set. This is yours. Like, and they want that. They want that too. They get excited. Like, I was talking to a gym owner recently, and she was like lit up about the potential. And it wasn't like, I want to sell my coaching packages here. It was like, this is what we can do for your members. It was a we conversation, not a me conversation.
Got it. That's really good insight. Okay, let's see. So I'm going to look at my question list here, because, whoa, we are, last 10 minutes here, and I don't want to miss anything. And I really, I love asking the day in the life question. So Hillary, I'm so going to get to your question, but when we say, what does a day look like for you? And, just kind of walk us through a little bit of how you're working in, some of the marketing or working with clients. I just always think it's interesting to get just a couple minutes, tell us about what, your day in the life of a fitness dietitian might be.
Yeah. So I feel like it'd be easier for me to talk about a week if that's okay,
Oh yeah.
because day to day is so different.
Like maybe big buckets, like how much, you're spending marketing or, working with clients or setting up the challenges or just kind of all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so I would say in, my morning hours is a lot of me I look at what my appointments are for the day. So ideally people who have coaching sessions with me, they're already in my calendar. So I set my mind up for like, okay, I'm doing this planning strategy session in the morning and I'm going to see these 3 clients at these 3 times. Then what might happen is I planned a consultation with a gym owner. Like a gym owner reached out to me because they want me to use a tool. This happened recently. And so I find a pocket in my day where I'm like, oh, I can come at 9 and I put that in there. So then I go to that gym. And then during that meeting, we have a conversation, and you're always marketing. So I think that kind of just happens throughout my day. And then I will, probably come home, do a couple more client sessions. Then I might do some, paperwork, admin types of things. I create a lot of products. So I'll do that at least once, I don't know, once a week. Like I'll set some time aside to develop those. And then on the weekends, I do like to keep my Saturdays free for workshops. So I'm either doing a workshop or I'm planning a workshop on Saturdays. And I'm also a group fitness instructor at night. So that's also marketing, but it's also, and also my own workout is marketing too, because I'll post about the gym. I'll post while I'm at the gym. And that kind of what
I think
helps me.
I'm sure most people are following you on social media, but if they aren't, definitely should be that, great tips as far as how to be engaging and, post things that people are interested in seeing. And I think that also, to get off track, but that you're really only on Instagram. And I think that it's okay to say, I'm just on this platform and, maybe it's your primary platform versus covering them all. Although I do read that you need to be omni-channel, Neil Patel's newest post on, what's changing, like you have to be everywhere. And I just think we also have to be realistic, right?
Yeah. And authentic to you. Like so many people are like, do you have a YouTube channel? You should be on YouTube. And I'm like, I'm on stories. Like that's what I'm doing now. That's what's working. Like I like it. And so I'm probably too resistant to other people's advice on the social media stuff because I really like doing what works for me. That sounds so terrible out loud, but yeah, I just feel like if you stick to what you like to do, it's just going to be that much more rewarding and fulfilling, and you're going to enjoy it more. So it'll come off better.
Right. So, for what it's worth.
Yeah.
So as we kind of, I want to get back to Hillary's question. If the gym is making money off of your individual counseling services, are they making money or are they just through running challenges and workshops? So are they actually taking a cut of your individual sessions? Is there a contractual thing there? Or are they just paying you upfront for like challenges and workshops?
Both.
I think that's the right question. I didn't ask that question correctly. Please clarify for me.
Yep. So both occurrences happen, but the better one for all parties is when they pay a flat fee, hands down. The perfect example I can give was I did a challenge with one gym and I charged her, I feel like it was like $1,650. And she decided I'm going to sell this package for $99. She got 52 people to sign up because she posted on Facebook. She bought ads. She did work. So whoever has a calculator out there and wants to crunch those numbers, you let me know. She did well. I did well too. And like,
she was happy.
Yeah, exactly. And the members got a service. So that to me is where I want to.
But what about your like individual? So your individual sessions, is that, because you mentioned in some cases you're an employee of the gym and maybe in other cases it's how that might work.
So as an employee of Carla Madison Rec Center, the Denver Parks and Recs, their members will pay for nutrition coaching and I do it, but that doesn't happen very often. On the other sides where it's the boutique stuff, I don't do a split fee just because it's their members. Like it has to be a very specific setup. The reason being is because I really don't need the gym like, I think that the marketing of my services counts. But I also remember that I don't need the gym to do what I do. So if I am going to be working with a gym and I want to do, okay, we're going to sell to your members nutrition coaching, we can talk about a split fee. Maybe we do like 90-10 or like 85-15. 70-30 is where it gets to be a little not, because the reason being is you have to start to charge more for your packages. And like, it's just a little.
And I think you're making a good point about these small boutique. You're talking, this is not like hundreds of employees at this gym. We're talking like a small, they have a head trainer or maybe some support trainers. They're not like this big mega Planet Fitness company. They're just a small studio or a franchise of some kind.
Exactly. Yeah. This isn't like a Lifetime Fitness situation. No. This is like Dina's Dumbbells and Barbells Club. I don't know.
I see. Okay. I think that helps.
Yeah.
A good question here from Julie is, Monica, do you mentor RDs who want to do this, or do you have a toolkit for RDs who want to kind of offer more fitness in local gyms?
I would love to mentor. I don't do this officially, but hit me up. And in terms of tools, I have a ton of the resources that I've used in practice at gyms and fitness studios on my RD to RD marketplace. That way you can like just download that, you have it. And then if anybody was, hey, I downloaded your thing, but I need help, I would be more than happy to like chat with somebody on that, because
you need to be adding another package to your Healthy account with, coaching for RDs. Get that going there, Monica.
I mean, I'd love to. The reason why I shy away from like I coach RDs is because I'm more than willing to help people get started, but I don't feel like taking. Oh, this is interesting. I'd really like to be a mentor and a colleague first, and then maybe in 10 years from now, I'll start charging for coaching, like the generations behind me. I just feel like right now I just want more RDs in gyms and fitness studios, and I don't want them to like pay me to do it, because honestly, they just usually need a confidence booster. I'm happy to be your cheerleader.
Yeah, and making sure that a lot of the resources Monica was talking about are in her store on RD to RD. And I think it's a testament to the fact that people want these kinds of tools. Her stuff sells like hotcakes, and the new initial client questionnaire and like your progress night form and your intuitive eating for fitness, some tools that are aimed at this population, tools that you use both on the practice side and actually with clients. The complete package for the workshop challenge, 28 days, like all done for you. Just take it, use it yourself. So there's a lot in there. If you haven't checked out Monica's store, she's basically opened up her like wizard box and said, here it is. Just, it's in my store. So thank you for creating tools and making them available.
Thank you for creating RD to RD marketplace so I can do this.
It's awesome. So I'm going to go, oh my gosh, through the questions. So yeah, someone's saying, I needed you then. All right. So I think someone mentioned have you heard of EatLove Pro for meal planning? I'm actually putting together an article on different meal planning tools. And not just kind of this is what it is and this is what it does. Hopefully I'll get this blog post out by early next week, but how have different dietitians used the tools and how are they monetizing them in their practice? What did they use before? Kind of really trying to not just say a regurgitation of what a meal planning tool is, but get that wisdom back from actual users to say, like you were mentioning macromeals.io, getting tools out there. I like crowdsourcing information. So we're definitely new to that around meal planning. Okay. Yeah. So if, let's say, you're listening to this, you're totally jazzed and you're excited and you're like, yes, I want to, I want to work in fitness studios. Let's say you're not currently, you haven't jumped in yet. What are the first like one or two things that you would recommend that, a dietitian do to kind of set themselves up for success?
Like you've never done this before, brand new?
Or you haven't done it very well.
Start working out at that gym. more and talking to people, just be and saying what you do. That way you can gauge what they want, and then you don't have to think about what to create as much as just do what they ask.
So that
And
conversation can feel like you're a very personable person. So walk us through the last, like, hey, I'm a dietitian and I might want to work in your fitness studio. How does that, I'm sure you got a much better line than that, but how did you ease into that conversation?
I feel like it probably went something like this. I'd love to do some workshops for your members, or that probably is how it happened. A lot of times though, it was just like I would be at an event and people would be like, "Oh, who are you?" And it'd be like, "Oh, I'm Monica. What do you do?" "I'm a dietitian. I work in gyms and fitness studios." Like, boom, I guess. And then people would be like, "Oh, do you do workshops or do you do coaching?" Yes, I do. I do that. So I guess I just say that I do that. And
yeah, I work out at a gym locally, and the trainer says like, "Hey, are you taking new clients?" People, I tag them, they tag me, and it's someone else like, "Hey, do you take insurance?" Which I do. Just another mom that I work out with. So I think there's always that networking. You're not really being a salesperson; you're building a relationship.
Right.
It's I think.
And the second thing is, if you want to real get in there, become a personal trainer. Nobody gets more questions than a personal trainer about nutrition. And that's why I became a NASM certified personal trainer. I'm actually a group fitness instructor more, but I do take personal training clients. But that is why I did that, is because I knew I needed to get into the gyms. I needed to get in front of people. That way, when they had nutrition questions, they asked me because I was there. And
do you feel
I also love group fitness.
As far as if you need to have both personal trainer as well as a dietitian?
I think it really helps. I think it shows that you are in fitness, like you have that knowledge. I really do. So just like somebody would ask me like, "Do you need to be an RD to do this?" I'd be like, "Heck yeah, you need to be an RD to do this." I don't think it matters which certification you go for. I chose NASM because in Denver, Colorado, a lot of aspiring trainers to me have NASM. So I'm like, "Oh, well, she's got NASM. I'm getting NASM." But I think you can do it without having it. I just think that like it really does help. It gives you that credibility, it gives you that knowledge, and then it helps. It's also a very easy test. If you can pass the RD exam, you can pass the personal training exam.
Oh, well,
Was that rude?
no, I'm thinking, I'm like, well, I don't know about myself, but all right. So I have had such a great time chatting. I could, still had so many more questions, but it wasn't. We definitely thank you, audience, for your questions. For those of you who maybe are watching this on replay, feel free to drop additional questions. I'll tag Monica. She'll loop back around and answer. Be sure to check on mindonnutrition.com and follow her on social media, particularly Instagram. And thank you so much for being a guest. Anything else you want to say before we wrap up?
Just want everybody to know that you can do this. You can create it. You just have to change that mindset and already start doing it, and then things will happen. That's all I have.
Just get started.
Just do it. Get the tools on my marketplace to have some physical, tangible, like, look, I have a workshop I can provide to your gym. That will make it easy, break the ice.
Yes. And I think to get over the fear of I'm going to offer a workshop and no one's going to show up, because welcome to the club. You'll be in. Just I've do it. There. Me too. So I think we're always afraid of what we might look like. It might be embarrassing. That's how you learn. It is what it is. So just jump in. And then you'll pretty soon be giving people advice as a fitness dietitian, right?
Exactly. And when people think, "Oh, I want nutrition and I'm at a gym," they're not going to go to the trainer. They're going to go to you. So
that's right.
That's what we all want.
Yeah, and we didn't talk a lot about that whole sometimes dynamic between nutrition advice from trainers. And I think, your conversations were a lot more around kind of these boutique gyms where maybe they don't want to necessarily be the expert in nutrition. Like that's not what they are happy to let that, go to another qualified person. So,
Right. And getting in the gyms is how you find that out. So,
right. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And, we we'll be back in a couple of weeks. I haven't put the event out on Facebook, but we're going to be talking about something that for me is kind of befuddling, is how to use kind of paid advertising on Facebook in a way that actually works. So if you know Krista Biegler, she is kind of very good at how do you evaluate whether your Facebook ads are working? Where are you driving them to? She's used webinars. So we're not just going to go, yay, I got my ad approved. Well, was it even a good Facebook ad? Like, how do you go through all of that metrics to evaluate and actually create a paid advertising that makes sense? So it'll be really a lot of fun. So I'll be back in 2 weeks. So again, Monica, thank you so much. And thank you all for joining today.
yeah, thank you.